Hey guys, it's Erin from Plants Happen. I thought that I would do another video, but talking a little bit more about how to get started with plants. Whether you're new to plants and you're looking for some good ways to care for them, or perhaps you've had a few but maybe killed them, we've all been there. This is a really good place for you to start. So I'm going to give you my top 10 tips on how to look after your plants. So first of all, one of the best things to do is to make sure you protect them. So sometimes we'll get plants, they'll get infested with fruit flies, mealyworms, or other annoying pests. It's happened to me, and it is such a pity to see a plant that either needs to be thrown out or has so much work to be done to it that you may as well just give up and buy a new one. So one of the best things to do to make sure that you're protecting it is to not overwater it. We will talk about the watering a little bit later, but make sure you're not throwing unnecessary items in your plant, such as tea or coffee. The sugars left in the compost make it an ideal breeding ground for some flies. So if this is a problem for you, just stop doing it. Check out the plant care products we have on plantshappen.com. The Bugs Away product is amazing. So the second thing that is probably the most important thing you can do for your plants is to make sure you're watering them correctly. It sounds kind of easy, but when you look up how much water does my plant need on Google, people will be telling you that you're either overwatering or underwatering your plant, and it's hard to find that balance. So there are a few different techniques to watering. One of them, obviously, that we all know is getting a watering can and pouring from the top. However, a really good way of watering your plant is actually keeping it in the plastic nursery pot and then putting it in a sink that already has water in it and allowing the plant to drink as much as it wants. This is sort of a good way of making sure that you're not giving your plant too much water. Maybe after about 30-40 minutes, take your plant out and allow it to dry out. And make sure that you're only watering your plant once it's dry. A good rule of thumb is to only water once the top 5 centimeters of the plant is dry. To test this out, simply get your pot, put your finger into the soil, and if that top sort of inch of soil is dry, you know that it's ready to be watered. If it's not, wait. Tip number 3, don't abandon your plants when you're away on holidays. I can't stress that enough. You go do all of this work, looking after your plants, making sure they have enough water and light, but then you go away on holidays and you forget about them. Don't do that. So make sure you have someone come over and open the blinds so that they can, get enough light and maybe give them a weekly drink. You can even, if you're a really good plant parent, leave a little overview for your carer on how much water to give them. Tip number 4, make sure your plants have enough light. It sounds really obvious, but a lot of the time we're putting our plants in positions where they just can't get enough light, and it means that they maybe can survive, but they won't thrive. If you're wondering what sort of light is best, for most indoor plants, you're looking at bright indirect light. So that means you're wanting your plant to get some sun on it, but from the general room, and it's not just a big bright amount of light directly on the plant. So don't put your plant too close to the window, because otherwise your beautiful leaves can get damaged. My next top tip is to use good quality soil. It sounds a little obvious, but if you don't give your plant the right soil to grow in, it won't thrive the way that it would otherwise. It's like putting really poor quality petrol in a Mercedes-Benz and wondering why it's breaking down. It just won't work. So if you're wanting a good, easy soil for your general indoor plants, go to your local nursery and get the best indoor plant soil you can afford, ideally organic. If you're wanting to go one step up ahead of that, you can use peat moss. It does cost about $8 for a small bag, which is pretty expensive if you have a lot of plants, but it is worth it. Otherwise, if you want to make your own soil, you can get organic soil and mix it with perlite, a little bit of vermiculite, and charcoal. The reason I say charcoal is because it helps with draining, and perlite and vermiculite help with drainage, because they allow a little bit of extra product in the soil to make sure that your plant has enough air and that it doesn't get root rot. Another one of my top tips is to have your own DIY compost. If you're not wanting to spend a lot of money on indoor plant fertilizer, you can do something really easy, such as blending eggshells. I know it sounds weird, but it gives really good calcium and nutrients to your plant. The other option you can do is to get banana peels and put it into water, and then use that water once it's sort of been resting overnight, and then put that water into your beautiful plants. My next top tip is to make sure you rotate your plants, especially when you get plants which have fenestrations. If you don't know, they're the holes you can see in the plant leaves. The reason why you need to rotate your plants is to make sure they get enough sun. If they don't have enough sun, the plants that do have fenestrations will often produce leaves which are completely round. You don't want that. They're not as attractive. Especially with variegated plants, you need to make sure that the light is even, because your leaves, again, won't produce the amazing colors and different leaf patterns that you're used to. They will just sort of go to a solid color. My next top tip is to make sure you prune your plants. When you have, for example, a beautiful arrowhead like this, occasionally you will get yellowing leaves. Although they might be hidden, they are making the plant use more energy than what it needs to. If you get rid of it, it helps the plant use the energy on the active current leaves, and that helps produce a more beautiful and full plant. So they're my top tips. Hope you enjoyed them. There's a lot more to come, so make sure you subscribe to be the first to find out about my latest videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.